All right, we're just waiting for a few people as usual on these Friday night podcasts. Sometimes we do them on Saturday, and other days, if something is going on that requires us to speak on a different day. But I wanted to cover a topic that has been coming up in the readings. Some of it has to do with astrological happenings and aspects that are occurring right now, but with the same theme keeps coming up in readings in private sessions with me. So I wanted to sort of do a podcast surrounding this. And the reason I call it Take What Works, Pick Your Battles, Stay the Course is because most people want to jump ship the first time something happens that is off the course, or it's too hard for them, or they're not ready, or whatever. The thing that I want to address with that is that, take what works with these things. Take what works and leave the rest behind. That doesn't mean you leave it all behind. You take the lessons with you that provided guidance, that provided, a light ahead, that you can use to arm yourself and enhance your not only the lessons, but enhance your experience going forward while you go through the rest of what you've agreed to do. um, so take what works means you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You throw away what absolutely wasn't working, and everybody has a different time frame with discarding those things. But I'm telling you right now that if you continue holding on to, the I'm not going to call it dead weight, but I am going to call it things that are no longer applying to you, for fear that you won't have something going forward. That's where you have to make the decision to let that go. And the only reason is because something so much greater is waiting for you. So we'll start first with take what works. And I see Michelle is in there. Hello, Michelle. All right. So I'm going to take questions, and they can relate to your private life in order to illustrate this particular topic that I've chosen for this evening. So you're allowed to ask personal questions, and we shall begin with. So go ahead and submit a request, Michelle, if you need to, or anybody else that wants to come in here. I just want to say, take what works. Let's talk about take what works. Take what works, again, is looking at, you know, your far past, things that happened way long ago that you've even forgotten about since you were a child. Those things. You bring forward the things that work with your past. Even if it was difficult, you bring that forward, but you leave the rest of it behind, the guilt, the shrouding yourself in pain all the time, the fact that it makes you paralyzed, you can't move forward. And I've had so many of these readings where, especially, I would have to say in the past 10 days, it's been insanely the same with each person. So that's why I wanted to do this. Take what works means you don't throw away everything. You just take the parts that actually apply to you. Now, some of those parts actually apply to that particular situation. So you leave that in the past. That is for the history books, your personal journals, your markers that said you made it past that point, okay? And then the rest of it you bring forward because you're going to need it. I don't mean to hurry people along and set a deadline for things because a lot of psychics do that, but I am going to say that if you don't actually grab hold of what's meant for you going forward, those opportunities you're going to have to rewrite. You're going to have to reconfigure those opportunities. They will not be available to you in the same form. And I would have to say you've got until about probably end of July to beginning of October. Like between that time frame, if you don't actually take advantage of what's been given you as far as markers along this path of yours, most of you will lose those opportunities. And some of you will actually lose them sooner than later if you abuse the process, if you abuse the gifts that the universe gave you or the tools that the universe gave you. You know, sometimes it's blind faith, guys. You got to just go forward with blind faith on some of this. You know, there's no guidebook, there's no rule book, there's no like absolute sign from heaven or your guardians or some billboard that's drawing you to the actual sign you need to see. Sometimes that happens, but it's rare. And a lot of times this has to be blind faith. And a lot of people don't have that. I hear some of my clients saying, "Oh, I do have blind faith." And I'm like, "No, you don't." But I don't say that to them. I'm just quiet about it, and I'm just smiling to myself, going, "No, you don't." Blind faith means you don't act like a fool, but you go forward with the belief that somehow, some way, it's all going to work out, and it's going to work out the way that you designed it to. And a lot of times, if you have that blind faith going in, it'll work out faster and in a much bigger way than what you had ever hoped. And I have two clients right now where that is happening. That exact thing is happening, where none of the things that I had said actually happened until the last 5 days. And then all of a sudden it started manifesting. And they had blind faith the whole time, not because they had blind faith in me, but because they had blind faith in themselves, and in the process and in the universe, and the fact that there's got to be something greater than us out there. So why the hell not? Let's just grab hold of that and believe in it, because they really didn't have any other way to go. And I mean, just the turnaround with them is immense, immense. And it was because they had blind faith in the process. They didn't have the exact details. Like I said, there's no guidebook that's handed to you at the door and tells you, okay, well, this is what you have to do and the steps you need to take. A lot of times it's just, you got to hold on to that blind faith, and you got to know that you're not going to be left out there by yourself, that there is a grander design, that there is something happening behind the scenes. And yeah, you don't get to control it. Dropping that control and that need to be at the controls the entire time, that's part of it. And that's very difficult for a lot of individual souls to accept, because they feel like they're going to fall off the edge of the earth if they lose control over that situation. So take what works, take the few things that you had from the past, things that are from your distant past that you learned, you had no idea why you were learning it, but bring it forward anyway. Put it in your backpack, have it with you in your bag. Make sure that it's there in case you need to pull it out. And then you go, oh my God, I needed that. I needed that happening. Somebody's coming in here. Michelle, I added you. How are you? So, does any of this resonate for you as far as some of the things I'm saying? Because a lot of times people bring their entire past with them forward,
hmm
their
Yes, it
entire
is actually.
arsenal.
hmm
And
I
and
wasn't. Uh-huh.
go ahead.
I wasn't gonna ask any questions because I didn't think I had any. But when you started saying about things are thrown at you and you have to have blind faith, I think I'm starting to understand that right now. I mean, things were thrown at us, Rick and and I would say, it is what it is. We'll get through it. We always do. And I automatically say that because I just feel like we're going to get through to the other side and we'll get through it. No matter what's thrown at us, we always get through it. We just make it. So
Well,
is that kind of what the blind faith is? That
it
it's
is.
going to be okay?
It is, and it's that need to control that a lot of people have, that they go into these situations feeling like they have to be at the control panel, you know,
Mhm.
and have their finger like ready on the button there, and
Mhm.
that's where
Well,
you actually get in your own way, and you can destroy some actual magic that's about to happen for you. You can
mhm.
destroy it by trying to control every aspect and every little detail of how it's going to uh, manifest, how it's going to display itself. A lot of times
Mhm.
people have an idea. Okay, you go in, you have a plan, you
Mhm.
set it forth, and you have an idea how it's going to lay itself out. What the actual design looks like,
Mhm.
what it represents, like the actual architecture of that particular situation is going to look like when it takes
Mhm.
full form and full shape. And all I'm saying is that if you can let that sort of appear on its own, you'll be very
Right.
surprised at the shape it takes.
Mhm.
You'll be thinking to yourself, oh, I didn't think it would be that. I have so many people say that to me. They go, oh, I didn't think it was going to be exactly like that. But all the rest of everything you said happened. And I said, it's because your image of what you imagined it to be
Mhm.
wasn't wasn't that exact image. So sometimes you bypass it because you think,
Right.
oh, well, it's not exactly that, so I'm going to
Mhm.
skip over that part. And
Well,
a lot
sometimes there's
of times
things
it's
are thrown in our path that we can't control, and we just have to say we just have to get through it, even though we have no control. We will get through it.
and you try to identify what that particular detail or that event is going to be. And
Mhm.
I have people trying to guess like the actual details of something and how it's going to lay itself out. And they know for sure, or, some other psychic told them, or I'm serious, I've actually had to deal with that many times. Some other psychic told them that it was going to be this way, or they had a dream and it came to them in that form. And
Mhm.
the thing is that it's rarely expected. That's why we learn from it. Because if
Right.
you have something very expected and you know about it ahead of time and you know exactly how it's going to lay itself out and present, then
Mhm.
you are not going to learn from that event. It
Right.
will it will barely register with you. It'll barely hit your radar. And you'll just be sitting there going, well, I knew that was coming, so who cares?
Right.
The
Right.
fact that it's so different or so much bigger maybe than what you thought it would be, or so impossible you still can't believe it's happening for you, or something along those lines. If it comes in that form, that's where people are made aware. That's when your
Right.
level of awareness just starts jumping leaps and bounds, and that's where you start paying attention. And you not only appreciate the fact that you didn't have to get in there and manipulate the whole thing.
Right. It just happens on its own.
I have so many people telling me that they know better than the universe on how it's going to lay itself out. And I stop, and I am the biggest control person I know. Okay, so that one was hard for me. For me
Wow.
to step back. For me to step back and for me to say, okay, it's not going to happen the way that the almighty Carla, has seen and that I have imagined it to be, because I have stuff to learn too, right?
Right.
So I see these things and then I realize, okay, they're going to away from what I had seen it coming through.
Right.
The same kind of thing's going to happen. So I'll be prepared and I'll know I have to take it. I have to take that opportunity in that doorway because I know that I'm not allowed to skip that. But even I have to step back and say, okay, I can't control those details. I can't control the way that's coming in. So take what works from your distant past. Let's say you were hurt as a child. Let's say that you were always picked on for certain things, or you had a disability that you brought forward, and you grew up, you became an adult, and so in spite of that disability, you're perfect, right? And
How did you know? How did you know that? Not the disability part, but being picked on as a kid.
Well,
I went through that.
Sometimes I'm shown words, and that's where the whole thing about me controlling. Like you'll notice that when I start speaking, like I start saying things that mean nothing to me, but they mean something to you guys. So I don't allow myself to filter those thoughts. When I'm in this mode, this psychic mode, or this channeling mode, I am just letting it come forward. And even if I think it's wrong, I'm going to say it because it means something to somebody listening.
Yeah, it's big time means something to me. Definitely.
Well, and the point I'm trying to make with that is you brought it forward. You had no idea why you went through it, but that's the thing. The lesson for that, or the message for that, doesn't come through immediately, like right at that second. It's usually held back for something later, where you have to have that message in your back pocket as you're going through something else. And you're like, oh, thank God I had that to sort of navigate the way through this current problem I'm dealing with. And there are some things in the past that you need to leave back there.
Yeah.
You cannot bring that entire arsenal with you, like through all of your adult life into old age. You just can't do it. It's not necessary and it doesn't apply.
You're making me tear up over here. It's crazy.
Some of the stuff has to do with other people's karma or other people's soul path, and it has to do with what they had to go through. It doesn't mean you have to drag it with you like this outcast through the rest of your born days. No. You take the stuff that was meant for you in that particular event and you bring that forward. Now, the pick your battles part. This is important. And I
Yes.
learned this one probably about 25 years ago.
Mhm.
Pick your battles. Pick the things that when you are in a situation or you're in an argument or you're in a fairly difficult transition with something,
Right. Mhm.
pick the circumstances that actually are integral to your progress, and let the other battles go. Let somebody else
Mhm.
win those for another day. You know what I mean? They'll,
Yes.
there's no reason why you have to win every argument, every battle, every event, every difficult passage. There's no reason why you have to do all of it.
Mhm.
It's not meant for you. Pick your battles, pick the things that mean the most, pick the things that you will not relinquish to anyone or anything.
Right.
You know, the things that you know make up your core, the things that
Right.
you know will be part of you forever.
Or
Those,
help us move forward.
right. You
Right.
don't let those things go. Like if somebody asked you to give up Rick, you would say, hell no.
No.
And
Hell no.
they said you would have all the other things that you wanted, all the
No.
money, all the happiness, all the everything, that you would
No.
have everything as long as you let Rick go. And
Mm-mm.
you know in the bottom of your heart that Rick is there forever and that
That's
you are
right.
not willing to trade.
Mhm.
So that's what I mean by pick your battles.
I
Make
got you.
sure that it's only the ones where you're willing to lose everything else based on that one thing.
Right.
And you don't care what anybody says about it. You don't care about other people's opinions, who
Mhm.
holds reign over something you think they control with your life because they don't. It's
Mhm.
imagined. All of that is imagined control. Nobody
Wow.
controls you, not even the universe, not even God. God doesn't
Wow.
control you. That's why we have free will. There's no
Right.
control going on here. It's imagined. We do not have control hanging over us 24/7. That's imagined. It's some sort of a crutch or an excuse that we rely on so that we don't have to do something,
Right.
you know? So pick your battles. And the last thing is stay the course. I've had to say that, oh, I don't know, about 50 times in the past 10 days to people. Stay the course. The course is the one that you knew was right when you began it. And the only thing that you're going to let go are the things that aren't working, the things
Mhm.
that will not contribute to the course you're on. And pick your battles is only those few things that you know that make up your core. They make up
Mhm.
your design. They make up your DNA. You cannot leave
Right.
them behind. And let all the rest of it go, because it'll come back around again like a boomerang. I've seen situations come back around again. It has nothing to do with reverse karma or somebody getting punished. First of all, that whole idea about punishment, that's a man-made construct.
Mm.
God doesn't go around punishing people. The
No.
universe doesn't
No.
go around punishing people. Angels don't go around smiting people and punishing. That's an antiquated concept. It has
Mhm.
to do with the whole idea of punishment for, and karma. Karma is something that you erect, something that you set upon to do because you're
Mhm.
in pain or because you're feeling scared or because you're not ready yet for something or because you think life is unfair. So you might set something in motion that is karmic in nature. And
Okay.
karma has to do with creating obstacles in your path. You're literally taking big boulders and putting them in front of you.
Wow.
So that you are unable to move forward. That's what karma actually is. And people misunderstand that concept. And then they try to repeat it back to me. And I'm like, no. That's not how that works. Karma is
Wow.
where you create something to fill in a hole or a space or an imbalance within inside yourself or your own life because of, I don't know, anything. And the things I mentioned, pain or suffering, or it was unexpected, or you weren't ready, or you're not equipped, or you don't feel good enough, or whatever it is, whatever the influence is.
Right.
And karma is where you take it upon yourself. You take it upon yourself to put those boulders in your path by basically throwing karma and acts out upon other people.
That makes sense.
Or your environment, because it's not as easy as you thought it might be, or it's more difficult, or it's impossible, or it's hurtful to you, or whatever it is. And that's what karma is. It is self-induced.
You're doing it to yourself. Yeah. Wow. That's an eye-opener. Wow.
Well, people think that karma is derived from something external and it comes from outside of yourself. And that's not
what I thought. Wow.
Karma is something that is born deep inside you, and all of a sudden it comes to the surface, and there it is. And you're expelling it upon whoever happens to be in your path. It's like you can't help yourself. It's like you're Reagan from The Exorcist or something, and you're expelling it onto other people. And
how do we let that go?
Well, it's if you understand that it comes from inside you versus it's something that's being done to you.
Oh, so it's like a mindset. Yeah.
If you understand that it's something that is born from you, from an inadequacy inside you, or from a fear.
So if we let that go, then karma will leave.
If you just look at it from that angle, that it's something that's inside you, then your need to put it on to other people is ridiculous.
Yeah. Wow.
It becomes, it actually doesn't solve anything. Then you're creating karma. Then you're actually not even solving the problem with yourself. You put obstacles in front of yourself.
Creating more problems. Right.
And then you've also harmed somebody else in the process. And then in another lifetime, or perhaps this same lifetime, you have to correct that egregious whatever that was. You have to correct that. You have to go back and fix that, because and that's the thing. People say, well, you should just understand I was in pain, or I was hurting, or I was not equipped, or I was not ready, or I was whatever it was. And nobody forced you to do any of it. Nobody put you on your path except for yourself.
Wow.
Nobody made those decisions for you. When you look at it from that point of view, you go, you don't blame anybody then. You take blame out of the picture altogether, and you look at yourself and you go, okay, it's not about blame. It's not about assigning blame to anything or anyone. It's about, okay, I have to fix this imbalance. So what are my steps to doing that? And then you become very, you see like 3 different solutions to that problem.
Right.
The reason people don't see their own solutions is because they're so busy putting boulders in front of themselves, with assigning blame to the universe, or, I did all the work, and I did all the effort, and I did all the studying, and I did all the this. And it's like, well, not quite about that, is it? It's about, okay, that happened, this event happened, and something unexpected came in your path, and you have to deal with it. Maybe it's unfair. Yeah. Maybe it's something that you don't deserve, which is most likely the truth. But it doesn't mean that you get to all of a sudden, because that's happening to you, you get to turn it around and just spew out all that 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 anger and that hurt and all of that karmic waste onto others in your path.
Mhm.
You know, and I've seen people destroy their families with this. Like,
Wow.
you know, it's like I've seen them literally destroy families. Like, just, well, they'll understand they're my family, and you know
Yeah,
what? There's
that's
a
not
point
good.
where
Yeah.
everyone's a human being, and putting karma upon them, you just have to clean it up anyway later. So realize that you're doing harm to yourself every time you do that, because you're just adding to that 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 backpack of karmic waste that you're creating for yourself. Instead of making it easier, you're actually just piling it on, and you're creating more burdens by doing that. If you look at it from the other way, then people that complain about, well, I don't see a way out, I have no idea what to do, I'm lost, I'm just going in circles, I am out of my mind with whatever it is. And if you would not assign blame to anything external,
Right.
and this is important, not assign blame to yourself either, because it's not your fault. And then you'll all of a sudden have this illumination of three or four or five solutions right in front of you.
Right.
And you didn't put the obstacles in front of your path. You didn't create problems for yourself,
Right.
but you end up delaying all the goodness that's coming your way, all those agreements that you agreed to, all the
I could
good
see.
stuff that's about to happen and unfold for you. You will delay it every single time you spray all this angst onto your external, whoever happens to be unfortunate enough to be in your path. You know what I mean? And if you would just not assign the blame to the outside world and just realize nobody's to blame, and sit still with yourself for 2 seconds and realize that that's something that's not balanced inside of you,
Right.
and sit still with yourself and ask yourself, okay, what is the solution to this? And just listen, for God's sake. Listen to what the answer is. So many people just don't sit and listen.
I think you've hit it on the nail, but Rick and I have been faced with some obstacles recently, and I've been taking the road that you're stating, that look for a solution. I've been doing that. I've been the one
And
that's been saying we have to be positive. Things are out of our control, but we just have to let it flow. We have to look and see what we could do. And I'm the one that's getting things done. Bills
okay.
that came up that we didn't know about, or I've been
Well,
finding the solutions.
let me just stop you right there. Okay, that thing about we've been positive. Positive or positivity is actually a very subjective term, and it's something that is different for every single person, every single soul.
Right.
Positivity is different for whoever happens to be looking at it. So in your case, instead of trying to rain, sunshine and rainbows upon Rick and the situation and all of what's going on, realize that you're going to sit still and wait for the answers to come. You're going to listen this time instead of trying to see, promoting positivity and pushing that in people's cases when they're not ready,
Mhm.
like saying, let's just be positive or what, that's, again, that's a control mechanism. That's a manipulation because you're
Mhm.
trying to say, oh, it's, just be positive and things will work out. I'm saying just sit still and listen.
Mm. Okay.
Still with yourselves and listen. And I'm telling you, the answers will be right there
Mhm.
because you wouldn't be going through this unless you were able to get through it.
Right.
You wouldn't be going through it.
Mhm.
Nobody would take that away from you. And
Right.
all I'm saying is if you can find an avenue to just not be stubborn and obstinate and having to um, push positive thoughts on everyone. Some people
Mhm.
don't know what that means. Some
Mhm.
people aren't don't have the same definition of positive that you do.
Right.
For you it works, but that's it. So keep those thoughts to yourself and just be
Okay.
still and listen to the universe and listen to the solutions because I'm telling you, you'll get hints. Just say to the universe, tell me where to go next.
Okay.
Say to the universe, tell me what's coming up next. Tell me the next turn. Tell
Mhm.
me,
So you literally ask.
yeah, I
Mhm.
do it. I do it
Okay.
every day, actually. When I wake up every day, I ask the universe to tell me, okay, what do I need to do next? What is my next turn? Where do I go with this one particular problem? And I'll usually work on like 5 different problems during any given day
Mhm.
that I need to complete. And then all of a sudden, the answer is illuminated. It was so simple, and I didn't realize it was that simple. That's usually what happens.
Wow. I didn't realize that I literally just had to ask instead
Just
of guessing.
ask the universe, show me the next step. Show me the next place to go. Show me the next thing I need to
To
do.
do.
Put me in
Okay.
the right place where I'm standing in the right place so that those people that I need to meet will
Mhm.
be present, will be in my sphere, will be right there for me.
Okay.
And
Sounds
try
good. Mhm.
try to back off from, you see, do you understand? And I don't mean that to go against, your belief that
No, no.
positivity works.
I'm open.
No, positive thoughts down other people's throats is also a way of controlling.
Yes. Mhm.
And it
I
works
get it.
for you,
Definitely.
but other people need to look at it from a different angle, maybe.
Right.
So instead of trying to control their reaction to whatever is going on
Mhm.
or their approach to what is going,
Right.
stay the
I
course.
get it. I get it.
Stay the course and just be quiet
Mhm.
instead of trying to control it with, we just need to be positive. We just need to be this or that. That's also a control mechanism. And I'm
Mhm.
guilty of it. I'm guilty of telling people how to react to something or how to
Mhm.
behave during a certain
Right.
event that's particularly difficult. And then I pull back and I realize that I'm like, no, they're not going to do it the same way I would do it. They will not
Right.
have the same approach that I would
Mhm.
take to that particular problem or that particular event. And
Mhm.
I have to allow them space to do it the way that
They need
that
to. Mhm.
that illuminates for them and gives them the
Right.
answer and have faith in that process. That's where my blind faith has to come in, is that,
Right.
because I control things much more than anybody that I've ever met. So, and
Well, I'm a Scorpio as well, so I guess we have those kind of traits in us.
well, and it's difficult for me
It's
because
hard. Yeah.
at least I have Cancer rising, so I realize that, it's not
Mhm.
quite as bad as I'm making it out to be. But
Yeah, I
ask
never looked at
me
it that way.
other questions. Ask me other questions concerning this particular topic. Go ahead. If you have.
Um, well, I'm kind of understanding what you're saying to pick your battles and stay the course because once you pick that particular path, you have to stay on that path till it takes you to where you need to be. Is that the way it works?
Well, and pick your battles means don't fight about every little thing. Let some of those fights go. Some of the stuff people fight about on a daily basis just boggles my mind. It's there's no real
We
reason for it.
we just had that this morning. I was
Yeah.
telling him we'll leave for the surgery around a quarter to 9 because he has to go in for 9:30. He's like, no, hon, we should leave at 8. We're in the middle of the island. It's 20-minute ride, and he's like, no, we have to leave at 8 o'clock. He's so nervous.
Well,
that was what we were talking
and
about.
you know what? That was a battle that you could let go and just
Right.
realize for him to feel more comforted and
Right.
to feel safe in that space that he needed to let that be his path and you needed
Right.
to let him. And instead of telling him, forcing your opinion on what that is, whether you think or whatever, you've got to assess the situation, each situation as it comes. In that
Right.
particular case, he was the one with more angst. He was the
Right.
one that needed the comfort, not you.
Mm-hmm.
For you, it was an inconvenience to go earlier. It was an inconvenience. And maybe not necessary in your opinion, but for him, it meant the world if you would do that for him. Do you see where that battle, you could let that one go?
Right.
That's what I mean by pick your battles.
I got you.
That wasn't your battle to have.
Right.
It was not even a battle. You guys made it one, but it was not necessary for you to have that battle. There are some battles that are necessary because they rip at the core of your being and they actually tear at the fabric of who you are at the core. Okay, those battles you need to have. Those battles, you cannot allow someone to chip away at your actual essence.
I got
The thing that makes you you, the thing that you decided upon this lifetime and other lifetimes and your agreements. You cannot have externals chipping away at the thing that makes you you, or otherwise what's the point of going on? So those battles you need to engage.
Yes, definitely.
And that's where the term set your boundaries comes from. That's where you set boundaries, right there. For the battles that tear apart your core, that rip at that, tear at the fabric of your being, or
those serious ones,
those battles you need to engage. But most battles, I'd say 95% of what people argue about every day are unnecessary and superfluous and just not really something that 100 years from now will mean nothing. Okay?
Right. I gotcha. Well, thank you. I'll let somebody else ask a question.
And you know what? And what I'm saying to you is that Rick will see that with you one day and pay the favor back. See?
Right. I got it.
He won't pick a battle with you with something that means everything to you. So tell Rick I said hey. All right. So
hi.
Hey.
Okay. Thank you.
I was telling her say hi.
Yeah, he wanted to tell you hello as well.
Okay.
Thank you, Carla.
All right. I'm going to have you mute your mic. And if anybody else wants to ask a question about this topic, because it's kind of, it does apply right now. I've had so many people have, it's just this, once you understand this concept and these things that I'm trying to say about take what works from your distant past, from your recent past. Just take what works from that. You're not meant to carry all of that forward. It's not yours to carry. It's not yours to take with you. It was never meant to be. You were only supposed to take the parts that apply to you going forward. And it was so that you could take those particular experiences and arm yourself with the knowledge or the experience of what that was, so that you can make the best choices for completing your agreements this lifetime and for ascension. And that's all that is. And leaving stuff behind has nothing to do with guilt, has nothing to do with anything. It's not like all of a sudden those experiences disappear. They are woven in the fabric of time. They are there forever. It doesn't mean they mean any less, but you only bring forward the parts that will assist in the rest of your journey. And people take so much stuff. I mean, they're like pack rats with like how they take everything from the past forward. And it's like you're so heavy with all the guilt and so heavy with all the responsibilities you pile on yourself that were never yours to bear in the first place. You just thought they were. And it doesn't mean that all of a sudden you're going to fall apart if you don't have those things with you. You don't have room for all that. You got to make room and make space for the stuff that's now, for the stuff that's coming in the near future here. If you take everything from the past with you, you won't have room. You need to make space for those things. That's why people don't get the opportunities they set their sights on. They don't get those opportunities. And you want to know why? 99% of the time, it's because they didn't make space for it. Or, because you brought everything from the past with you, you didn't make space for those new things, for those things you set your sights on. You didn't make space. You didn't make time. You didn't make, there's no room for it. I mean, you can only fit so much in your current space. You can't keep piling on and expect that the new things that are on your path right now at this moment and in the near future are going to be able to fit in that time and that space inside your life, in your framework. If you don't leave some of that stuff that was never meant to come forward with you. It was never meant to. It was only meant to create that learning experience and to create that cell of time where you learn that thing, that memory. That memory will be there forever. It doesn't mean you're leaving the memory behind. The memory never disappears. The memory is seared into time and space. It will always be there. But you're not meant to bring all the stuff with you, guys, all of it. You need to make space for what's happening in the present. You need to make space for what's about to happen in the near future. If you don't have space for it, if you don't make room for it, that's why most things don't manifest for people. Because you could do, what I do, like periodically I cast spells, white light candle spells and whatever. I could cast 1,000 spells, but if I don't make space for those things, if I do not make space for those things that I know are coming, they will fall through my hands. They will dissipate. They will like somehow evaporate because I didn't make space and I didn't make room for them. So I'm trying to impart some wisdom here, guys. Make some space for it. Leave some of that stuff in the past that was never yours to bring forward. I hope somebody's hearing that and actually gets a lot from that, because that's a hard concept to understand, but I hope I explained it in such a way that you guys are getting that, because that's important. Make space, make room for those things. That's why you didn't get the thing that you wanted so badly. That's why you'd be there. But if you didn't make space for it, well, it's going to fall off the edge because you didn't make space. So, okay. So if somebody else has a question related to their life and they want to apply what I'm talking about tonight, and you want to get a firmer grasp on what I'm saying, go ahead and submit a request to speak, and I will address your question in terms of your life and what's going on. But I hope I'm explaining this in a way. Are you guys getting this? Are you getting what I'm putting forward here? These ideas about the time and space and making room? Michelle, yeah? Okay. That's the biggest reason why things don't manifest for others. Like, it could even arrive and it could be right there. Thank you, Nick. It could be right there in front of you, and it arrived and it's right there, and it won't happen unless you make room for it, unless you make space for it, unless you make time for it, because it'll just fall off the edge of the platform right there. There it was on the loading dock. It was on the loading dock, and the universe delivered it on time, on schedule, just like FedEx, right? And it's right there for you. And it came, and they put it too close to the edge because you had so much stuff on the loading dock. You didn't make space. You didn't make space. And it went away. It disappeared. And there it is. That was a weird ass metaphor, but I'm just, I hope, or, hopefully you guys got the concept there, but that actually explains what it is. It's kind of like that loading dock where, you've got something being delivered, and because there's so much stuff on that loading dock from your past, and you didn't make space for it. Sometimes I come up with the weirdest, but it makes you remember it, right? Like, I'm making you remember by my stories. It's this loading dock, and you got all this stuff on there from the past that you thought you had to bring forward, and there's not enough room for the things that were being delivered today. They came on time, just like you had ordered. You had ordered those things. You did all the planning, but you didn't make room. You didn't make space for it. You didn't make time for it. It fell off the edge by accident, gone forever. And you're like, well, I did everything I was supposed to do. No, you didn't. You didn't make space. You didn't make room for it. You had too much stuff you were dragging from your distant past or your recent past, and you didn't make the space to make that work, whatever it was that you ordered. So, okay, that's one of my weirder stories, but I think it illustrated my point. And let's go to stay the course. The last part of this. Stay the course means stay the course that resonates with everything that you're building, everything that you know to be true. Not things that you're hoping will be true. Not things that you are imagining to be true, that you are delusional about with inside yourself. I'm talking about the things that you know are right, because it resonates. It's got that sense of purpose, and it's got a drive all on its own. Like, you didn't need to add any energy to it. It was self-propelled, that course, and you're on it, and you feel lucky that you're on it. Stay the course even if you don't feel you deserve it. Stay the course even if you think you're going to lose at the end of it, because you won't. If it feels that right, I don't care what the present circumstances are, because people think, oh, it'll take a lot of time or it'll do this. I've seen things change within 60 minutes. Within the hour, I've seen entire circumstances change within 1 hour of people's lives. 1 hour. 5 minutes even. Like they make a turn and everything is different. Like they run into somebody and their entire lives are changed. Or, so this thing where, oh, there's not enough time. Your entire life can change in 5 minutes if the right set of circumstances presents. So stop thinking, oh, there's not enough time for that thing to happen. Or I'm on the course, it just seems so impossible that these things will come to pass. I've seen multiple very impossible, very disconnected, not connected in any way, shape, or form to the other things. I've seen all the things come together in this perfect storm and happen within minutes. Things that were never together before and never will be again. But it was the perfect storm right at that minute. And it happens. So that excuse, that's man-made. That's a man-made excuse. It doesn't belong here. It doesn't belong inside you. If you're on that course, you know it to be true, stay on the course. I don't care what's currently happening. That's no indicator of what will be at the end. And I'm not saying have blind faith in things that are ridiculous. I'm saying have blind faith in the process. Have blind faith that the universe knows more than you do and stop trying to direct it. I've yet to meet anybody that is that profound and that much of a transcendental soul that they can control the universe at large. So stop trying. Stay the course. I don't care what the current circumstances say. I don't care if it looks bleak, if it looks like there's a 5% chance of that happening. Stay the course. Like I said, I've seen things, I've seen a perfect storm happen. I can't count the number of times where these things were never in the same space or time before, and then all of a sudden they were. It was the perfect storm. And then all of a sudden, these things that were completely impossible were happening, completely out of the realm of anything you ever thought before. So that's what blind faith is, believing that that actually can happen. Believing that that can actually, that the perfect storm can happen for each person that's listening to this. Okay. I need any additional questions before I sign off tonight. I think I'm in teaching mode, and hopefully you got some of my stories and concepts and you're taking them to heart. I think the loading dock one was a good one because that basically illustrates that if you don't make space for it, I don't care how many times you wish for it, it's not going to happen. Oh yeah, they can deliver it, but it's going to fall right off the dock if you've got too much stuff there. You got to make space, make room, make time. Make time for it, make room for it, make space for it. Okay, I'm doing last call on any questions related to your life within these concepts. If you guys want to ask, you're free to ask during this part of it. And I will try to apply these concepts to what's going on with you right now. If you have a question, I will address it. But if you don't, and you just are here listening and hopefully absorbing some things, take what works for you and then leave the rest behind. That's what all these things are about. Take what works only for you. You don't have to take all of it. Take the stuff that resonates with you. Okay? So I love you guys for being here. Thank you always for coming around. And I'm going to have this up on the platforms within the hour. But let me know what you thought. Because I think this was good to address this, because this is like hands-on in the field stuff, giving you guys tools what to work with as far as your own conundrums and what's going on. All right, this is Psychic Carla Barron. I am signing off, and I'll talk to you guys next time. And I wish you all a good weekend. Bye-bye.